What if Canada was a Pokemon region? As you may or may not be aware, I recently created a video series on my channel that explores a Canada-based Pokemon region I created as if it were an actual game. I made new Pokemon, gym leaders, an evil team, a story, it was all voice acted, and it was this whole big thing. However, many of you who have watched that series have been asking for a Pokédex type video that features all of this region's Pokemon, and I liked that idea. So today, for those that have already watched Pokemon Cardinal, or who are being introduced to it in this video right here, we are going to be doing an overview of my Canadian Pokemon region, and exploring the Pokemon, characters, and landmarks that make it up, as well as their origins, inspirations, backgrounds, and more. In short, we are pretty thoroughly going to be answering the question of, what if Canada was a Pokemon region? But before we do that, I would like to tell you about the sponsor of today's video that helped make it happen, QV. QV is an adorable, fun, and challenging action-adventure puzzle game that just released on the Nintendo Switch. In the game, you'll play as QB, a girl who is adventuring across dimensions and exploring ancient ruins in order to find a key that will help her to stop the collapse of the worlds around her. As QB, you'll solve puzzles in order to travel across these ruins, using QB's abilities to open up portals and walk across water with the help of her magic paintbrush. You'll also meet some interesting characters along the way, including a helpful penguin and a mysterious girl that strongly resembles QB herself. The game is a wonderful blend of relaxing, fun, and challenging all at the same time, and the anime chibi art style is wonderful to look at as well. The game has also received good reviews across the board, including garnering a score of 80 from Metacritic, which makes it all the greater that it is currently 20% off on the Nintendo Switch eShop until December 9th, giving it a price tag of just $11.99 for the next few days, making it a great title to pick up and play over the holiday season. So be sure to check it out using the link below or by visiting the Nintendo Switch eShop, and by picking up a copy, you'll be helping to support the channel immensely. And thank you again to QV for sponsoring this video. Okay, we'll be getting to the Pokemon themselves in a little bit, but if we're going to be discussing the idea of a Canadian Pokemon region, we might as well start with the region itself. This right here is my vision for what Canada could look like in the world of Pokemon. The region is known as Norclo, a name which comes from the words north, given Canada is a pretty northern country, snow, but spelled phonetically to make the spelling of the name a little smoother, and finally, the C in the middle of the name stands for Canada. It also makes the word itself roll off the tongue a lot easier, which is very important for the name of a Pokemon region. For the cities, towns, and landmarks of the region, I did my best to represent all of the quintessentially Canadian places. For example, we have Ottawa City, which serves as the capital of Norclo, and is based on a combination of both Ottawa, the capital of Canada, and Toronto. This was done because, not being from Canada myself and being on the outside looking in, Toronto is easily the most well-known Canadian city, it seems, despite not being the capital, and since it and Ottawa also sit close together geographically, I thought it made sense to combine the two as one super capital. There are also other major cities represented as well, like Navarcove City being based on Vancouver, Donamit City being based on Edmonton, Pinique being based on Winnipeg, and Toronto City being based on Montreal. There's also a naming scheme going on with the settlements of Norclo, as their names are all anagrams, or at the very least, derived directly from the name of its inspiration. Other cities and towns in Norclo include the starting town Vikinu, based on Inuvik, which is pretty small itself and was the intention, Dule City, based on Dawson City and named after its founder, Joseph Ledoux. Next up on your adventure, you would come to Chevalite, which is based on the city of Whitehorse, and its name comes from the French word for horse, cheval, and white. The French touch is added here, as well as in many other elements of the region, due to the prominence of French culture within Canada and its prominence within Canadian history. After cruising through there on your gym challenge, as well as Naver Cove and Doniment, you would come to Tourist Town. This place is a quaint little skiing and snowboarding town based on Banff in the Alberta province, and its name is an anagram of resort. And it also sounds like tourist, which just makes it that much better. After going through there and Pinnigue, you would come to Oranac City, which is based on Kenora. Then you would travel to the capital of Otorowa, followed by making a trip to the Galeros district. The Galeros district is essentially a Chinatown type of area in Norclo for the Galar and Kalos regions. This was implemented due to the fact that both the English and French, which Galar and Kalos are based on, have heavy ties to Canada, specifically during the colonial era, and the area that the Galeros district is based on, New Brunswick and Nova Scotia, are some of the first places in North America that were settled by Europeans, and were settled specifically by the French and British, which is why I felt it would be important and cool to represent this, given that France and Britain already have Pokemon regions of their own. The name Galeros is also a portmanteau of Galar and Kalos, respectively. Moving along, we also have Vilbrook City, which is based on Sherbrooke, Jotnua Town, based on Naujot, and Artavi Town, based on Arviat, and that pretty much wraps up the settlements of the Norclo region. There are also a few prominent landmarks to mention, such as Lake Selliu being based on Lake Louise, Whalelord Bay on Hudson Bay, Mount Norclo on Mount Norquay, the Robella Forest on the Boreal Forest, and even the Abandoned Manor, which is based on a real haunted house in Canada known as the Mather Walls House. There were a few locations, however, that I naturally took some liberties on and weren't necessarily based on a real-life location, such as the Cardinal Grove, the Pokemon League, and the Nameless Island. These were all important plot locations and thus were included for story's sake rather than geographical accuracy. Okay, now that the region has been covered in a bit more detail, let's take a look at what the Pokemon of a Canadian region could look like, shall we? In total, with new Pokemon and the new forms for previous Pokemon I created, such as Mega Evolutions, there are 112 new Pokemon in this region of mine, including 85 that are completely new Norclo Pokemon. Being that there are so many, I'm gonna have to cover these in a rapid-fire style, and a few of them I will also be discussing in detail in their own dedicated video, such as the one I did earlier this week on the evolutions to older Pokemon, so look out for those in the near future. With that said though, let's check out some Pokemon, starting first with Norclo's starters. We've got a Grass Moose consisting of Shrubberus, Arvidae, and Elderoos, a Fire Rabbit, which was designed before Scorbunny existed by the way, consisting of Embitt, Flaridas, and Rocketeer, and a Water Narwhal consisting of Narwade, Walloon, and Blimwall. In addition to their base inspirations, these starters also share a theme of vehicles. Shrubberus' line are based around cargo trucks and slowly show that more over time in their designs, with Arvidae and Elderoos also becoming part rock type in the process. Embitt's family are based on rockets, with the final evolution Rocketeer becoming part steel type, and Narwade's family being based on a blimp, with Blimwall becoming part flying type. These starters also have Mega Evolutions, which extend their inspirations seen in the base forms. Getting into basic Pokemon now, we have the starting Bug, Bird, and Rodent. In that order, they are known as Bumblow, Humblebee, Quayleaf, Pheasantry, Condibore, Quilkson, and Venipine. Continuing in Pokedex order from there, we have the Husky Pokemon Frosty and Cyberanine, the Black Bear Pokemon Darbursa and Ursumbra, who by the way also get their unique looks from umbrellas and raincoats, the umbrella part in particular adding to their dark typing. There's also the Light Bulb / Kinetic Energy Pokemon, Connectric and Volnetic, the Rock Ground Snakes, Snebel, Boboa, and Serapent, and the Killer Whales, Orqua and Orcanont, who are also inspired by torpedoes. Next, we have Armitar, Alumatile, and Tormitents, who are based on a blend of pygmy short-horned lizards and tortoises. And then some bug types, Mapleleaf, Resemdra, Terrasect, and Terrectrifly. Mapleleaf is the classic Canadian Maple Leaf Pokemon combined with a leaf bug, and it evolves into Resemdra, who gains the dragon type by attempting to look like a dragon, just like leaf bugs attempt to look like leaves. Terrasect and Terrectrifly are based on the general concept of a computer bug with elements of pterodactyls as well, because the name of the first evolution, Terrasect, which comes from computer, terabyte, and insect, can also seamlessly include Terra from pterodactyl into its spelling. So I thought, what the heck, and went for it. Scrolling right down the Pokedex, we have the Superhero Phoenix Pokemon, Kindlescent, Flamearrow, and Pheronix, the Kyukujin Pokemon, which is a Japanese yokai by the way, Floofive and Qflu, the Ice-type Stoat Pokemon, Stowball, Wintrote, and Stowtrees, the Ghost Caribou Pokemon, Scaraboo, the Little Red Riding Hood Pokemon, Hooksy, and the Snowman Hobo Pokemon, Snowbo and Vagalanche. Fun fact about these two, these were actually created when I was about 12 years old, when my cousin and I used to make Fakemon as kids, so they've actually been around for quite a while. Next, we have the Big Bad Wolf Pokemon to go along with Hooksy, Pupuff, Wolo, and Wolvor, and then we come to the fossil Pokemon of the Norclo region, Greynine, Fangray, Scythosaur, and Mortisaur. These four are some of the best designs from the project in my opinion, and some that I am most proud of. The main idea behind these two families is a concept of black and white versus color. This is in order to tie them together as counterparts, where Greynine and Fangray are based on the black and white era, and Scythosaur and Mortisaur the color era. This represents the knowledge we have about them as a species, since saber-toothed tigers, which Greynine's family are based on, have been known about and studied for a long time, while Scythosaur and Mortisaur's inspiration is a newly discovered kind of Tyrannosaur that has been known about for only a short while. It is also known as the Reaper of Death, which is why this Pokemon has the Ghost type, and was also discovered in Canada no less, just to really help tie it to the region even more. Next up we have Yungool and Langool, based on the Abura Akago and Kasa Obake Japanese yokai, Sporito, based on Canadian Spirit Bears with elements of Totoro from Studio Ghibli for good measure. These next two are very Canadian, as we have the Maple Syrup Pokemon Treetrup and the Pikachu clone of the region, Borabizu, who is based on a beaver since beavers are the national animal of Canada. We also have the Crystal Ball Pokemon Bubbless, the Rosefish Pokemon Flourish and Rosankish, the Jekyll and Hyde Marshmallow Pokemon, yes you heard that right, Emilo along with its roasted form, and then its evolutions are known as Jekylo and Mallowide, and then we come to the group of Pokemon who are evolutions to older already existing Pokemon. Like I said earlier, these Pokemon were covered in detail in their own video earlier, so check that out to hear their background and inspiration in full. But with that said, we have a Fighting-type evolution named Karadeon, a Shuckle evolution named Tanduckle, a Dunsparce evolution named Sinnosparce, a Cinccino evolution named Cinchilla, and a Heliolisk evolution named Heliovin. The next section of the Pokedex consists of the fantasy, author-based Gremlin Pokemon Gremlet and Gremond, and the scientist-based alien Pokemon Etini and Cerebrapho. We also have some dragons next, including Drampa's Norcloan cousin Gramgin, and the samurai dragon Pokemon Raikonid, Kakudra, and Dramuragon. Next up, we begin to get into the legendary section of the Pokedex, beginning with the pseudo-legendary family of Grember, Growlor, and Grenferno. These Pokemon are based on Wolverines, but in order to justify their grass-fire typing, are also based around the story of the burning bush from the Bible. The typing also fits a Wolverine Pokemon well though, considering Wolverines are woodland animals that have a very fiery personality. And now we get into the actual legendary Pokemon of Norclo, and as I mentioned earlier, this is another group of Pokemon that I will be releasing a dedicated video for shortly due to the time constraints of this video. Even still, however, we have the Life Trio that are based around the concept of life, and they consist of Burnim, Primree, and Finrit. Then we have the main box art legendary itself, Cardivios, who is based on a cardinal, but also other things that will be specified in its dedicated video. And then last but not least, we have the lone mythical Pokemon of the Norclo region, Morvator. Morvator is the trio master of the Life Trio and is known as the Afterlife Pokemon. It has a really cool inspiration behind its design, so be sure to tune in to its dedicated video once it goes live. From here, the rest of the Pokédex consists of regional variants, which in this region are known as Tundra forms, and Mega Evolutions. For those who have not yet watched the Pokemon Cardinal series, Tundra forms take the place of regular regional variants and are experimental ice-type versions of already existing Pokemon, created by the evil team of the region, Team Tundra. For time's sake, I will be saving the main details on them for their own dedicated video, also coming soon, but the Tundra form roster consists of the Johto starters and their evolutions, the Flygon family, the Roserade family, and the Scrafty family. I decided to take this approach to regional variants because I wanted to do something new and that was my own, but I also knew I had to include regional variants at the same time. So this concept was a blend of those two ideas. Finally, to round out the Pokédex, we have Mega Evolutions. I created some Mega Evolutions for my Pokemon, including the starters you saw earlier, Volnetic, who is based around an Oni, which is a Japanese ogre-like monster, and Cardivios, as well as 4 official Pokemon. The official Pokemon I gave Megas to are Nidoking and Nidoqueen, Breloom, whose design is based around a samurai, Grumpig, and Yanmega, whose design is based on Mega Neuropsis permiana, the biggest known insect to have ever lived. And that is the complete Pokédex of the Norclo region. I suppose all that's left to cover here are the characters, so let's jump right into that, shall we? Again, this will be the quick version of things, so please do check out the Pokemon Cardinal series if you want to see these characters in action. But with that said, we of course have to start with the player characters, Reed and Wendy. Their names are derived from the colors red and white, specifically referring to the red and white of the Canadian flag. We also have the professor of this region, Professor Tamarack, and the rival of the region, Krim. Tamarack's name comes from the tamarack, a species of tree native to Canada, and Krim's name comes from crimson, another shade of red. Next up would be the gym leaders that consist of, in order, Ella, the electric type user, Jacques, the water type user, Leo, the grass type user, Bora, the ice type user, Christy, the ghost type user, Lawrence, the rock type user, Belle, the fairy type user, and Jet, the dark type user. There is also an Elite Four and Champion in this region, and they consist of, in order, Orma, the normal type user, Baron, the flying type user, Cole, the fire type user, and Lulu, the steel type user, followed by Eris, the champion of the region, who uses a wide variety of Pokemon on his team. There is also Rory, who acts as a secondary rival and plays an important role in the story, and the Mystery Man, whose identity is a secret, but is there to help you defeat the evil team of the region, Team Tundra. Team Tundra is an ice-based team who are bent on freezing the entire Norclo region to fulfill their own personal goals. They created the Tundra forms to help realize this goal, and their members include the usual horde of grunts, 2 admins who are known as Thatcher and Holly, and finally their leader Cronus, who is as boisterous as he is large. And in a nutshell, that is what a Pokemon region based on Canada could look like. However, it's only half of the story, because if you want to see this region in all of its glory and watch its story play out, consider giving the Pokemon Cardinal series a watch if you haven't yet. You can also check out all of the artists I commissioned this artwork from with the link in the description, which I highly recommend. And with that being said, I'll be back very soon with another video. I love you all, and until the next one, as always, I will smell you guys later.